Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 7, verse number 15 and 16. Verse number 15. Yoso maya viditi tattvadrishya sabhayam shipto durukti visikhair viganyatanmam arvak patantam arhattama nindayapad दृष्ट्या द्रया स भगवान स्वकृतेन तुष्येत. Translation. I did not know your full glories. For this reason, I threw arrows of sharp words at you in the open assembly. Although you did not take them into account, I was going down to hell because of my disobedience to you, who are the most respectable personality. But you took compassion upon me and saved me by avoiding punishment. I request that you be pleased by your own mercy, since I cannot satisfy you by my own words. Purport by His Divine Grace. Abhay Charna Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As usual, a devotee is an ad- As usual, a devotee in an adverse condition of life accepts such a condition to be the mercy of the Lord. So actually, the insulting words used by Daksha against Lord Shiva were enough to have him thrown perpetually into a hellish life. But Lord Shiva, being kind toward him, awarded him punishment to neutralize the offense. King Daksha realized this and, feeling obliged for Lord Shiva's magnanimous behavior, wanted to show his gratitude. Sometimes a father punishes his child, and when the child is grown up and comes to his senses, he understands the father's punishment was not actually punishment but mercy. Similarly, Daksha appreciated that the punishment offered to him by Lord Shiva was a manifestation of Lord Shiva's mercy. This is the symptom of a person making progress on the path of Krishna consciousness. It is said that a devotee in Krishna consciousness never takes any miserable condition of life to be condemnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he accepts the miserable condition to be the grace of the Lord. He thinks, I would have been punished or put into a more dangerous condition of life due to my past misdeeds, but the Lord has protected me. Thus, I have received only a little punishment as token execution of the law of karma. Thinking of His grace in that way, a devotee always surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead more and more seriously and is not disturbed by such so called punishment. Text number 16. Maitreya Uvacha Shama Shamapyayam Samidvamsam Brahmana Chanumantrita Karma Santanayam Asha So Sopadhyayar Twig Adibhi. Translation. The great sage Maitri said, thus being pardoned by Lord Shiva, King Daksha, with the permission of Lord Brahma, again began the performance of the yajna, along with the great learned sages, the priests, and others. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं वंशकल्पतरुश्च कृपासिन्धुश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. He accepts the miserable condition to be the grace of the Lord. He thinks, I would have been punished or put into a more dangerous condition of life due to my past misdeeds. But the Lord has protected me. Thus I have received only a little punishment as token execution of the law of karma. So very beautiful purport by Prabhupada. And this whole pastime of Daksha actually insulting Lord Shiva and getting chastised by him. Um, if we take it into an account of how we have to apply it in our life, it then it actually becomes interesting. So to Tathenu Kampa Susumikshama, no, yes, that verse of Lord Brahma to Lord Krishna in 10th canto, he says that whatever situation a devotee faces, he accepts it wholeheartedly as a mercy of the Lord. Yes. अश्लीशवापादरतां विनष्टुमाम अदर्शनाम मर्मथाम करोतुवा यथा तथा वा विदधातुलम पटो मत prananathastु सेवनापरा. Whatever condition might be, even in an ecstasy, if the Lord is actually rejecting me, it does not matter. My condition is to always be the servant of the Lord. So, in any condition, if we are trying to be Krishna conscious, now that does not mean that we can be wholeheartedly accepting what the situation might be. Yes, very difficult. Very difficult because once it depends on our attachment, how frustrated we are going to be. Yes, the greater the attachment, the greater the frustration. As soon as we start getting attached to Dhanam Janam Sundarim, and as soon as it is started to get away, then it's not a big thing because you had it one day, you had the desire for one day, and then it is taken away, no problem. But when you have built that attachment over millennials, yes, of pride, envy, anger, lust, greed, and that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, when you're contemplating on the objects of the senses, we develop attachment. And as soon as we do that, there is frustration which is going to come, whoever we are, whoever we are. And it is just time. Sometimes because in the material world, when we are actually going through and we see that sometimes people get reactions very quickly. And I've seen that with myself that you do something and then you might get the reaction very quickly. And it's like that person was doing it for 2 years. He didn't get that reaction. Why am I getting that reaction? But actually, it's a good thing because then the Lord does not want me to cheat somebody, not take undue advantage of someone. But that person, the Lord letting it go, whatever his karma might be, the thing is that now he's going to develop an attachment. Someday or the other is going to be frustrated. So it's not a free pass for anyone. Not for me, not for any devotee, and not for the karmis, definitely. So we should not be anxious. Yes. That why is it happening to me? I'm trying my best as a devotee. But the non-devotees are actually having a lot of fun. Once I had asked this question to Mukundat Prabhu that it seems that they're enjoying much more than us. He said that, have you been with them 24 hours? Just be with them 24 hours. It's miserable. And it is really miserable. Yes, it is really miserable. The anxiety, the stress is much more. Yeah, we can't even imagine. The struggle which we have in Krishna consciousness is much more pleasurable than having to be in anxiety of the material world. Yes. So over here, when Prabhupada is mentioning that it is only a little punishment, and it is a fact. Krishna, being very merciful to his devotee, is always going to protect him. And as soon as we see that Krishna is protecting me in any situation, whether it is a humiliating situation for me, yes, whether It is actually a frustrated desire which I had, an attachment which I had. But Krishna knows that this would be good for me. Yes. If Krishna is not giving us any reaction, then that is a problem. If I think that I'm bypassing the laws of karma and the Lord is letting me have what I want, there might be something like we could see it as okay, the Lord is actually being more merciful, that he knows I can't handle it, that's why he's letting it go. That's one way of looking at it. But if we think that I can do anything and everything and nothing is going to happen, then we'll wait, because when the Govardhan Leela happened, it is not that in one day in Lord Indra actually developed that attachment for pride. It took a lot of time. Slowly and steadily, that pride came up. And it came to such a point that he was trying to kill the inhabitants, the family of Krishna, direct family, right? The most dear people to Krishna. So we can imagine how great that attachment would be. And that's why this purport makes so much sense. But the next verse, which doesn't have a purport at all, what does the line say? Is that thus being pardoned by Lord Shiva, King Daksha, with the permission of Lord Brahma, again began the performance of the yajna, along with the great learned sages, the priests, and the others. And when I read this, I was like, the demigods, Lord Shiva himself, and all, Lord Brahma himself also, what did they do? He made such a big offense, Daksha. We might think from our standpoint, hey, what is the big deal? They just insulted. You know, it was just sharp words. But then we know that there was a big tandav which was created over there. Sati was burnt, and then everything, all this is the whole story. And then there was a goat's head put onto Daksha. For a Prajapati, this is such a great problem, and such a great punishment. But after everything happened, this is the most important point. Yes, he's grateful that the punishment came by. He accepted it, that yes, it was his problem. He accepted the punishment also. But after everything happened, it wasn't like, okay, let's start the whole yagya, and now somebody else is going to come and stand in Daksha's position. Very important point for us as devotees to actually see that when a person makes a mistake, an accidental fall down, it is called accidental fall down. The definition of accidental fall down usually is very, very scary, which devotees give. Accidental means if I'm walking down by the street and somehow or the other, my mind was focused on Krishna, but after few hours, I was in the bar and then somebody saw me in the bar drinking wine. Okay. And if I wasn't thinking at all and I was subconsciously sitting in the bar and drinking wine, then yes, it was an accidental fall down. Yes. That is a hard line given fall down, which majority of the whole population of devotees we consider. That is accidental fall down. It's an accidental fall down obviously does not mean that if I am planning to go to the bar, then obviously that is not an accidental fall. We were a direct fall down because it's premeditated and this and that and planned. But that that is not that definition of accidental fall down. Accidental fall down means that there is no faith in that. It's like it's like Daksha really thought that Lord Shiva is a useless person. Okay. That is premeditated. It's not that I have an attachment I can see. I have an attachment I can see, but I don't have faith in that attachment. I don't want it. I want to do bhakti, but my attachment is so great, I'm not able to control it. That is an accidental fall down. We don't use it to clarify a situation, to give, how should I say, justice to a situation and our attachment. But that is the reality of accidental fall down, that we don't have faith in it. Yes. If tomorrow, if we ask each and every devotee, if you that, hey, Hare Krishna Mataji, why do you do this? Shouldn't you be like this? What would Mataji come and tell? She'll be like, yes, I have problems, but I don't want it. I don't know what to do. I'm trying my best. So is that premeditated fall down or accidental fall down? That comes to become an accident because that person does not have attachment. That person has attachment, but is not able to work on it. And they're trying, but they don't have faith in it. They have faith in Krishna. Yes, that's why Ajamil's thing was an accidental fall down. Even though he planned to bring the prostitute at his home. Correct? It wasn't like, oh, he saw the Shudra and Shudrani having intimate relations. And then he went home. And then when he opened his eyes, everything was manifested. And now he had 10 children out of the blue. And then, oh, accidental fall down. No. So we have to be careful about what it is. And after that, when it happens, in this case, when it was premeditated by Daksha, yes, he had a problem. He was envious of Lord Shiva. And it was premeditated, it wasn't accidental. Even then, when he was pardoned, yes, by the whole society of demigods, they did not ban him for life. That okay, now you go down and now you don't deserve anything. Srila Prabhupada actually did the same thing with all of his disciples. When there was some problem, they were brought back into the same position after the problem was fixed. Yes, after the problem was fixed. So, we as devotees have to think that what is the problem in us, obviously, that we have these great attachments, that is introspection. And at the same time, when somebody else is facing some problem, then we look at that person and we think that, hey, what is the problem? The problem isn't that he's not determined. He wants to do it. He's coming to the temple. He's trying to chant his rounds. But the thing is that he's not able to. So then, rather than rejecting that person out of association of devotees, giving him more association of the right people and the right things, and with that person's right attitude, he can be brought up. And with Krishna consciousness, that problem will go away. In which world, hanging to death is going to actually make that person go back home, back to Godhead? Sometimes there are harsh punishments, but the thing is that rejecting that person from the association of devotees is not the solution. Why? Because if hanging to death was the prashchitta, even for devotees, yes, which might be in some rare cases, but after that, you know, hanging to death won't actually take that person back home, back to Godhead. It's usually if I have not made a mistake and if somebody else has made a mistake, you know, then how dare he did that mistake? He has to be punished. He has to be rejected. He does not deserve anything. How dare he comes to the temple and stands in front of the deities? He does not deserve to be that. How dare he chants? He should be rejected. This is all material consciousness. It's not that definitely it is for me also because I am the fallen one. Maybe I'm indirectly telling everybody that please have mercy. And that's one of the things subconsciously. But the thing I was thinking is that I have to develop that consciousness because if I don't, And if I don't develop that consciousness of forgiveness, compassion, and how to deal with people or devotees who have some issues, and because I have issues, others will also have issues. So if I don't deal with them properly, then Krishna is not going to be happy. Krishna is not going to treat me well. And because of that aparadh, I am going to fall down. Then there is a definite path to hell. Yes, then there is a definite path to hell because, like Namapriya Mataji was focusing on the first offense to the holy name, blaspheming the devotees, and it's such a big deal. And even though the person has accidentally fallen down, and we chastise that person and have a blasphemy of that person because there is no other way of doing stuff, then we will be in danger. Nobody else. We are in danger. Yes. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Sheila.